What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We're about to start week 6 QB watch party. First game up is going to be Texas at Florida. First, let's talk about Arch Manning. He's going up against the Florida Gators defense that has ranked 32nd in the pass, allowing 173 yards per pass, 6.6 yards per attempt, and 11.7 yards per completion. Arch Manning has 888 yards passing with 9 touchdowns and 3 interceptions on a year. His QBR rating, that's his quarterback rating, is a 57.2. Arch Manning had his first 300-yard passing game of the season in his last game against Sam Houston. He'll have his work cut out for him this week as he goes up against the Florida defense that has not allowed a 300-yard passer all season. Arch has been pretty pedestrian on the road. In a small sample size against Ohio State, he went 17 for 30 for 56% completion percentage for 170 yards with 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But the big eye-opener is he only averaged 5.7 yards per pass. Since that Ohio State game, Arch has had 3 games against lesser competition. His completion percentage hasn't been much better. Against San Jose State, it was 63.8%, and against UTEP, his completion percentage was 44%. And in that game, he only had 114 yards passing and only averaged 4.6 yards per pass. His last outing, things seemed to shift. Against newcomer FBS school, Sam Houston, he went 18 for 21, 309 yards for 3 touchdowns and no picks, and he had 2 rushing touchdowns in the game. While Arch may have had his best game of the season, the guy on the other end may have just had his worst game. DJ Lagway had only 61 passing yards in his last outing against the Miami Hurricanes. That's right, 61 yards. Not in a single drive, not in a quarter, not in a half, but the whole game. DJ went into the press conference and claimed that they would use the bye week to change things around and that this team was going to start having a monster season. It's going to start against the Texas team that they have next. Well, this Texas team ranks 16th in the pass defense, only allowing 151 yards per game with 1 passing touchdown on the season. For this season, DJ Lagway has 690 yards passing with 5 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. He also has a QBR rating of 46.9. DJ Lagway and the Florida Gators might need to lean more on his legs this game. He's been labeled a dual-threat quarterback, but honestly, he's not much of a runner. This season, he has 26 carries for 23 yards. If he wants to keep defenses honest when guarding against him, he might need to oppose more of a dual-threat ability by taking off on a couple runs, maybe a couple design rollouts for a few yards here and there just to keep the defense honest so they just can't bear back on the pass rush up against them. Just to give you a few reasons why you should watch this game. 1, Arch Manning. He is part of that Manning family tree. He will be playing on Sundays. I think this guy will get better. He has all the tools, size, arm strength, mobility. He has it all. He just got to put it together. What's going on with him is all between the ears. And I think that's something he's going to figure out before the season's over with. So as far as his play has been going, he has been subpar, but his team is still 3-1. So that's something to look at. If you go on the other side, look at DJ Lagway. He's been struggling mightily this year, but I want you to go back and think about what he did last year. He went on a nice little run. He still was making questionable decisions passing the ball, but he had that Florida offense humming last year, and they were making plays and they were winning games. He saved his coach's job. So I think he's probably – I believe him when he say he's going to turn it on. He missed a lot of the offseason with injury. He getting warmed back up. I think he's a guy that can get it going. I think he can get the Florida Gators team rolling. It's going to be tough this week, but I kind of think I believe him. I'm going to roll with him and see what happens. DJ Lagway is a former Gatorade Player of the Year in high school, so that's enough reason for you to watch the game just to see 2 guys duel it out that were top-notch in high school and now doing it at the college level. Staying in the SEC, let's look at the matchup between Diego Pava and Ty Simpson in the college football game day of the week, Vanderbilt versus Alabama. First up, Diego Pava, the 24-year-old New Mexico native and former New Mexico military and state QB, has been making a name for himself at Vanderbilt. Through 5 games, Pavia has 1,211 yards, 13 touchdowns with 3 picks, with a QBR rating of 88.4, which is good for 3rd in the nation. Last game against Utah State, he had 321 yards passing with 5 touchdowns and an interception to tag along with 9 rushes, 79 yards, and a touchdown. This will be his toughest defense yet he's faced so far, Alabama's pass defense ranks second in the nation in yards allowed per game with the pass, with 113.5 yards per game. Look for Pavia to take advantage of the lack of a pass rush with runs to the outside, breaking the pocket for big gains, and breaking the pocket for passes down the field. That's how he neutralizes the defense. That's how he takes advantage of the pass rush. Look for it in his game. Diego Pava is a human highlight reel. I repeat, human highlight reel. The guy he would be going up against for the Alabama Crimson Tide, Ty Simpson, who has quietly had a very solid season. He's protecting the ball well. Well, he's protecting the ball extremely well, with 11 touchdowns to 0 interceptions, with a QBR rating of 84.2, which is good enough for 12th in the nation. The Vanderbilt pass defense ranks 55th, allowing 199 yards per game, and their third down defense is tied at 49. This is where I believe Alabama takes advantage of the Vanderbilt defense. If they can stay in third and short situations, they can control the game, control the clock, control the time of possession, keep Diego Pava on the sideline. That will be key. As long as Ty Simpson on the field, I think Alabama has the advantage. So all Ty Simpson has to do, control the clock, run as much time as you can, convert those third downs, keeping Pavia on the sideline. That gives Alabama a good chance to win this game. Alabama is number 10. Vanderbilt's ranked 16. Vanderbilt did win last year's matchup. They stormed the field in Vandy, and Alabama's looking maybe to do the same thing as they beat Vanderbilt this year. What y'all think? Next game up, let's move over to the Big 12 with Kansas State versus Baylor, Avery Johnson versus Sawyer Robertson. First up, Avery Johnson, the guy who came into the season with a good amount of Heisman hype, including from myself, even picking Kansas State as my dark horse to win the Big 12. Avery Johnson has 1,019 yards, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception, with 137 yards on the ground. Against Central Florida last game, he had 12 carries for 75 yards and went 18 for 25 passing for 168 yards and 2 touchdowns with a 72% completion percentage. His QBR last game was 90.4. Let's look what he'll be facing this weekend. The pass defense for the Baylor Bears ranks 58th, allowing 203 yards per game. The Baylor Bears had 3 picks just a few weeks ago against Samford. Avery Johnson is his most dangerous when things break down in a pocket, when he can make plays on the move. That's what he likes to do, his receivers in stride. He's really good at that. When he gets down into the red zone, that's when you need to watch out for the dual threat ability. He will take off and run it in at any moment. That's what Baylor has to look out for. Baylor has been in their fair share of shootouts so far this year. I'm expecting another one in this weekend for the Bears. But let's look at their quarterback on their side. Let's take a look at Baylor Bears starting quarterback, Sawyer Robinson. The former Mississippi State quarterback, senior Sawyer Robinson, has 1,700 yards on the season with 17 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. He has a QBR rating of 77.9. That QBR is good enough for 12th in the nation. Sawyer Robinson had a strong season last year in 2024 with over 3,000 yards passing with 28 touchdowns to 8 picks. He was sacked 15 times, and his average depth per pass was 8.3 yards, which is pretty high for a collegiate quarterback. I think he could have went to the league. Probably could have been a 4th, 5th, 6th round pick. He betting on himself. He's coming back to increase his draft stock. So far, it's paying off. He's leading the nation in passing yards and QB efficiency right now. He'll be going up against a Kansas State defense that ranks 37th against the pass, giving up 181 yards per game. This is going to be a pretty interesting matchup. Kansas State hasn't played a quarterback of Roberson's talent yet. Roberson has been lighting up every defense he's went across. I believe he does the same thing here. Going to be an interesting game. Avery Johnson's going to have to keep him in the game. It's going to be nice to watch these two quarterbacks duel it out. Good game to watch in the Big 12. Going to be a high-scoring affair. Last but not least, we take a look into the ACC in a matchup between Miami and Florida State. We got Thomas Castellano and Carson Beck. Let's take a look at Carson Beck. Beck has 972 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. All those interceptions have come in the last 2 games. He has a QBR rating of 81.9, which is 16th best in the nation. People starting to raise concerns about Beck not having enough zip on his passes. You get none of that concern from me because the Hurricanes have played in a lot of rainy conditions, including the weather delay. The Florida State pass defense ranks 40th in the nation, allowing 184.5 yards a game. Ranking 28th in total defense, they give up 184.5 yards per passing. All I got to say is the rebuild continues for Carson Beck. He's been looking good so far this year. Things did get a little shaky in the second half against Florida. I won't be worried about that too much. As long as his offensive line holds up, and so far they have, and the running game stays strong, Carson Beck will be just fine. He's probably one of the best 10 quarterbacks in the nation right now. Just to put some names out there who I'm thinking are the best quarterbacks in the nation, I got to throw a shout-out to C.J. Carr, Jaden Mayava, Dante Moore, quarterbacks that people aren't talking about. They probably look the best right now in the nation. And I could throw Carson Beck into that mix. He's looking good. I don't think there's a defense he haven't seen. I think he's ready for whatever Florida State has to offer. Now, speaking of Florida State, let's look at their quarterback, Thomas Castellanos. Now, moving over to the ultra-confident Thomas Castellanos, he has 848 passing yards with 4 touchdowns to 3 interceptions and a QBR of 78.3, which ranks 20th in the nation. Castellanos is known more for his rushing ability. He has 217 rushing yards with 4 rushing touchdowns. He is a rushing threat when close to the end zone. That is your main priority when you see this guy in the red zone, is to stop the run with the defensive ends in containment, and possibly even the QB spy over the top. Run blocking the zones on the line is also important. Because of his rushing ability and escapability, we will look at the Miami's defense as a whole. Miami's pass defense ranks 25th, allowing 168 yards per game, giving up just 61 yards in their last game to DJ Lagway. Miami's defense's third down conversion rate is ranked 7th in the nation at 24%. The defense also ranks 8th in total defense. 8th in rushing defense and 13th in total defense, But they haven't played a rushing attack like Florida State and a play caller like Gus Malzahn, so they will be challenged this week. It's going to be a chess match, not only between Thomas Castellanos and Carson Beck, but you're looking at the defensive coordinator in Miami, Corey Heatherman, going up against a play calling machine and Gus Malzahn, who has been in his bag all year. This rivalry matchup is going to be must-see TV. You got 2 quarterbacks in their first years in the programs, possibly only years in the programs. I know for Carson Beck would be in his own year. I think Castellanos has one more year. Maybe not. He did spend a lot of time at Central Florida and Boston College. He did get kicked off the Boston College team, they say. I don't know how true that is. I don't know if he left the team or got kicked off the team. But from what I read somewhere, he was kicked off the team or asked to leave the team or something like that. But I think his leadership skills have been strong at Florida State this year. In the offseason, he called his shot. He said they're going to beat Alabama. And lo and behold, man of his word, his team went out there to play hard, and they won their game. It was a top 10 ranked Alabama team, and they stormed the field. He also proclaimed that this week they're going to be doing the same thing, beating the top 10 team in Miami and storming the field down there in Florida State. It's going to be up to Carson Beck and the Miami team to make sure that doesn't happen. So there you have it, guys. That's our QB Watch battle we got for you this week. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sorry for my voice. I'm feeling a little hoarse. My sinuses are acting up. But there's not a lot of QB battles to look at this week, but those are the 4 that I want to put my eyes on. You guys tell me if I missed one. If y'all see a QB battle y'all want to see me feature, or some QBs y'all want me to talk about, drop them down in the comment section. We thank y'all for subscribing to the channel. Leave some comments, share the videos. Not my best work, but I'm still putting it out there. Sorry for the voice. Y'all have a good night.